Using the pipe organ in digital spaces is not meant to replace live concerts and live church services. The more ideas we have, the more creators we have trying their hand at this, the more ways to complement our traditional performance venues we'll find. We haven't even scratched the surface yet, and that's why I want to convince you to start creating. I'm Wesley Hall. I'm an organist, I'm a TikToker, and like everyone from Massachusetts, I drink iced coffee every day in the winter. Would it be cooler if I were recording this in a warm place? Maybe. But the poutine and the natural beauty of Montreal has made it all worthwhile. Welcome to Organist Launchpad. I'm not here today to talk to you about coffee or poutine. Instead, I'm here to talk to you about the organ in the digital realm. How to find your brand, how to lose the shackles of the fears you might have about going onto all these new apps, to tell you that it's a lot easier than you might think, and to encourage you to get creative and make digital content for the good of the pipe organ and for the good of you as an artist. The pipe organ has already entered the digital realm. It's too late. We can't stop it. Every single day, thousands and thousands of people around the world consume pipe organ content, listening to music, streaming, watching videos on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, even on Facebook. And some days, more people will hear the organ or even a specific piece of organ music than that composer had in their entire lifetime hearing them. This is a unique time, and it's actually the best time to start making content and creating. The hardware is in the best position it's ever been. The software and the user interface and user experience is in the best place it's ever been. So it's not too late for you to get started. Today we're going to talk about a lot of specifics about creating content, and I want to dispel some of those fears you might have that it's too complex or that you need a lot of complicated equipment. You don't. It's very easy now. So today we're going to be talking about you and your identity, how to build a brand. So be ready for some deep soul searching. We're going to talk about the platforms that are out there, how they work, and how to use those platforms to achieve the goals that you set for yourself as an artist. And then at the end, we're going to talk about some real specifics, some do's and don'ts, some things to avoid, and some things that work really well on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Using the pipe organ in digital spaces is not meant to replace live concerts and live church services. It's nice to have the option when things like, say, a global pandemic happen, but instead of replacing it, it's really about complementing it. The good news is that the more ideas we have, the more creators we have trying their hand at this, the more ways to complement our traditional performance venues we'll find. We haven't even scratched the surface yet, and that's why I want to convince you to start creating. There are quite a few things that are unique about the digital realm, however, and I want to share some of those with you. When I go live on TikTok, I am sitting alone in a church by myself with my phone set up on a tripod near me. But on that phone, there are literally thousands and thousands of people who will pop on and watch me as I practice, as I prepare music for my church services, maybe while I get ready for a recital. And these people stick around anywhere between a minute or two to the entire hour. And they're asking for different things. Some of them pop in and they say, "Oh, can you play Star Wars?" And they write a little bit of a comment and they say, "Oh, this is where pulling out all the stops comes from." But other people know a ton about the organ, and they actually have even played some of the pieces that I'm working on. And those people stay the whole time. There are other people who play other instruments like piano and had no idea about the organ, and they're just fascinated by it. But the point is, all of these people are watching at the same time. And this is what we call a multi-leveled audience. If you are a concert performer and you play on sort of legacy recital series where people pay good money to get a ticket to come see you play, they expect detailed program notes, lots of explanations, a really engaging program, there's a bit of a barrier of entry to some people, but it's an important thing that you do for the arts. If you also play on, say, a noontime series in a touristy town, where people maybe walk by and they see a sandwich sign out and they decide on a whim to come in and hear the concert, you're going to have to tailor your music to that audience as well. Those people also have a bit of a barrier. They don't necessarily understand all of the deep artistic elements that you would put in the other concert. You have to teach and you have to explain. You want to probably play stuff that's more popular and more engaging. What's important to remember, though, is that you don't often get these audiences at the same time. And the digital realm absolutely allows for that. That's something very unique. Another thing that's really amazing about some of the digital platforms that are really popular right now is the algorithms behind the videos that you put up. Behind the scenes, there's all this math and magic that helps sort out who's going to see what. And even though these algorithms are relatively inscrutable, they're still very good at showing people what they want to see. If someone's really interested in mechanisms and complicated inner workings of machines, they may find what you do on the pipe organ just because it's a complex machine. Other people are fascinated by the arts and by music, and they'll be directed to maybe longer form pieces that you play. The algorithm is pretty amazing, and they're retooling it all the time. What's really neat is that you don't have to stress when you're making content on a platform like Instagram or TikTok, because basically, if you put up a video, the people who want to see it are going to see it. They've decided they want to keep watching, and although it's the internet and people can be mean, most of the time, people are really happy to see whatever you're creating. Another unique opportunity that platforms like this provide for us is the ability to be truly intergenerational in the art and the music that we make. Of my followers on TikTok, at least 75% of them are younger than I am, and quite a few of those are way younger than I am. Some of these people have no experience going to concerts. Some of them were teenagers during the pandemic and weren't able to go to anything, and a lot of them can't even drive cars yet. I've had examples where I mentioned concerts I was playing on TikTok, and people who are in their young teens asked their grandparents to take them to a concert so they could come and actually see it in person. This is a unique opportunity, something that can definitely augment what you do as a performer, as a musician, and this is just the start. There are so many more things to discover, so many more ways to support the other things that you do. It's important to remember that doing digital stuff like this does not have to replace what you do in person. And it doesn't have to pigeonhole you as someone who does online things only. You can continue to perform. You can continue to lean into whatever it is that you're passionate about. And really, at the end of the day, it will do nothing but enhance that. So stick with us on this series where we talk about your goals as an artist, your brand, where we talk about the specific apps you might want to leverage to achieve those goals, and then some practical elements about how to make these videos and some of the great do's and don'ts.